But today, what I sense, and because the campaign is doing so well, is that people are sensing there's something wrong. There's something wrong with the monetary system. There's something rotten about the tax system. Especially young people are gathering together in the campaign because they realize that another generation has passed on to them a great burden that compromises their freedoms, their personal choices, the economic prosperity. At the same time, they've been delivered a foreign policy which is unsustainable. We're in 130 countries and several wars, and it's falling on the young people, both financially and the burden of the families and those who want to defend this country but get pushed into doing things that we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. It's a revolution.
Now see, I'm thinking, I remember right, they voted in there last time. Hopefully this isn't mine.
Brennan. Yeah, we're outside the Sheeman building here at Iowa State University, getting ready to vote for Ron Paul in the Iowa straw poll. There's a lot of people here and there's a lot of excitement.
Thank you and have a great day. There are two exits. There'll be one over there. We're going to go around. It's going to be about the center of the building. The other one's over in that far corner on the other side. You're welcome. Hi, sir. How are you today?
No cameras allowed. No cameras. Stop, please. I need to see if you have to see that out of the wallet. Driver's license out of the wallet. No cameras. This is here.
Looks like a very exciting day, and we're delighted with the way things are going. The one thing about our campaign, it's been identified with one particular word, and I'm very proud of it. We are identified with the cause of liberty. I'm convinced that liberty and an understanding of that and the Constitution can bring us peace and prosperity. If we are to defend liberty and allow people to spend the money as they want, go to the church that they want, and run their lives as they please, you have to understand where that liberty and that life comes from. It does not come from the government, it comes from our Creator. There's a lot of ways you can defend liberty. I find it very difficult to protect liberty if you don't truly understand what the Patriot Act is all about. I understand I was in Washington with the great concern on the day after the day of 9/11. But the Patriot Act is an attack on our liberties in the Fourth Amendment. It does not solve the problems that we face. We cannot protect liberty by taking liberty away from the American people. If you want to think about the issue that comes about if you get careless with the protection of liberty, the Patriot Act, along with the TSA, just think of what is happening at our airports. If we tolerate that type of interference with our liberties, I believe that we have to be pessimistic about the outcome of what we're doing. But you cannot repeal the Fourth Amendment in order to say, yes, we can give up a little bit of our freedoms to be safe. You never have to give up liberties to be safe. You know, foreign policy has been a big issue in our campaign because the country is tired of the war. And we're all so broke. The wars have been going on for 10 years. They're undeclared. They're fought under international banners, NATO and United Nations, and we don't see an end to it. But it's also costing us a lot of money. We're into wars that are costing us trillions of dollars. Those trillions of dollars should have been left in the economy to build jobs and produce prosperity here at home. But symbolically, I want to tell you what was done in Iraq. We built an embassy there. The embassy is big as the Vatican. And just recently, the DOD budget authorized the employment of 17,000 people to work in this embassy. That is not the way to achieve prosperity in this country. You have to have a strong currency. There's nothing wrong with us reinstituting the Constitution because it's still on the books that only gold and silver can be legal tender. And it would be a good idea for us to give serious consideration to get rid of all this income tax and corporate taxation. Of course, with a strong currency and with a change of the tax system, you also have to deal with the regulatory system. We have to shrink the size of the Federal Register, not constantly expanding the size of the Federal Register. We need a lot less regulations, not more regulation. It is said that those of us who promote the free market system, that we don't care about regulating those ruthless big corporations. But just think of how the marketplace and sound economic policy in the Constitution would regulate those companies and banks that are ripping us off. That's the regulation that we have to have. And we don't need to be bailing out the big banks and the big corporations, dumping the debt on the American people, causing the unemployment, and causing the little guy to lose his house. The solution is not complicated if you understand how we got into this mess. Basically, we got into this mess because we have lost respect for our law of the land, the Constitution, and we have lost our enthusiasm for freedom, that we ourselves can take better care of ourselves and to take better care of our money and our lives and our children's education. The whole works is done much better without the federal government down on our backs and in our wallets. It's time we restored freedom to America. We've been overseas too long. We don't need an American empire. We need to defend our borders and forget about the borders in Afghanistan and Pakistan. It's time to bring the troops home. There is no argument that is viable to say that we have to keep troops in South Korea. They've been there since I was in high school. They've been in Japan since World War II. They've been in Germany since World War II. We're flat out broke. And we bring them home and let all the military people who come home help protect our borders and let them spend the money here at home. We need a boost in the economy. If we got into this trouble by a lack of loyalty to our rule of law and our Constitution, it is not all that difficult. All we have to do is restore the belief in freedom, restore the belief in what made America great, restore our conviction that the Constitution works. It would take a while, but it might only take a year. We're into the 4th year now of this recession. Yes, we got in this trouble by not having respect for the Constitution. We can get out of this trouble by respecting the rule of law and sending only people to Washington who know and understand and will obey the Constitution. Thank you very much.
A special message from Strong America Now.
If a candidate will not put his name on the record to sign them, you were concerned.
The citizens of Iowa desire.
Well, I do, but Ron Paul made time, and Michelle Bachman made time, and Rick Santorum made time. So if Tim will not make time to do a survey, well, that might. Well, I'm not making a stance on that. Have a good day, sir.
Danny the Goombot on the bass is celebrating 17 years.
I'd like to farm.
Yeah. 17 years.
I got a few acres I would devote just for him.
I know.
Here's how he came to fame. Well, he left his farming practice and left his family. And he went up north to Congress to fight for liberty. 86, my friends, but our country wasn't free. Ron Paul went off to Congress to fight for liberty.
businessman, a senator, many say a future president. He is probably right now the brightest star in the American political firmament. Please welcome Rand Paul.
Thank you, thank you. Who are we here for? Who's the champion of the Constitution? Who is the intellectual godfather of the Tea Party movement? Who is it when many Republicans run the wrong way, when many Republicans become the rhinos, who is the one that stands firm on principle? Who will defend the Republic? When they call for more bailouts for the banks, for the corporations, for those who have lost the money in the marketplace, who is it that will defend the taxpayer? Who is it you want to hear right now? I give you my father, Ron Paul.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sounds like a little bit of excitement today. You know, I have said many times that there is a revolution going on in this country. And you're in the forefront of it. I'm delighted to have you here because nobody can stop this revolution. Our time has come. What I have in the past described what I think is important in a true revolution. A couple characteristics. One thing, I believe that the young people will respond if we have a true revolution going on, and they're involved, and a lot of them are right behind us here. Also, another significant part of a revolution is music. If you don't have the music, the spirit isn't there. And when the music is original, it is even more fantastic. I want to thank Gordon for that wonderful song he sang. I deeply appreciate that. You know, it is wonderful. We don't know what the results are going to be. Most people are feeling pretty good about it, but we'll see in a few more hours. And it is important that if there are a few more votes out there, we certainly do need them. But this country has shifted. I have witnessed there are problems, but when I started in the 1970s, I sensed that the country was really embarking on the wrong track. And ever since the early 70s, I thought, well, we are going to end up with a financial crisis and overextended that nobody will ever have any idea how we got there. But I tell you what, by plodding along and inviting so many in to the understanding of our Constitution, our traditions, and how important liberty is, our movement is growing. Believe me, this country has shifted in the last 4 years. Some of the media actually, in a kidding way, said, have you shifted to the mainstream? And I said, no way. The mainstream has shifted toward us. We are the mainstream. You know, there's a couple issues that does distinguish our campaign, and I know you know all those, but I'll recite them once again. And those are certain issues that the other candidates, whether in this party or the other party, do not talk about. And that is a renewal in a pro-American, strong national defense foreign policy that makes sense. I've studied the issue of war over many years. I was a draftee in the 1960s. I was in the military for 5 years. But this issue of war has always been a political winner, believe it or not. The individual who knows how to propel and promote the cause of liberty and limited government and peace, they generally are the winners in a campaign. And now let me give you a demonstration. I remember well the first election I was involved in. It was in 1952. And that was Eisenhower. He was elected because he was sick and tired of that needless, undeclared UN war, the Korean War, and he was elected to end that war. So this whole idea that you have to be a liberal, progressive Democrat to be opposed to war is not wrong. We're proving the case that you can be a conservative, libertarian, constitutionalist and be strongly anti-illegal, unconstitutional war. In 1968, Richard Nixon was elected. He was supposed to stop the Vietnam War. He didn't do a very good job, but that was his job. He was supposed to. Took a few more years, and tragically, we still lost lives. But even as recent as the year 2000, our candidate at that time was disgusted with the foreign policy of the previous administration before he was elected. And what did he say? We need a humble foreign policy. We need a non-interventionist foreign policy. We need to quit the nation building. And the people voted for him. They elected him. But we've got more nation building than ever before, and more war and more tragedy. And lo and behold, we just had an election a couple years ago, and the opposite party became the candidate became a symbolic peace candidate. So he runs and says, we're going to end these wars, we're going to start bringing these troops home. So he gets elected. And the strangest thing happened immediately after he was elected. Believe it or not, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. And what followed? The expansion of the wars, addressing the, going into Libya and all these other places. Now it's very hard to even count how many countries we're attacking with our bombs and our drone missiles and our CIA. It's way overblown. It's coming to an end. Good common sense should bring it to an end, but it will come to an end because we're flat out broke, and that seems to me to be the most appropriate place to cut the spending immediately and bring our troops home. I am firmly convinced that the philosophy of liberty, if you apply it, understand our traditions, and understand our Constitution, it is the only way to achieve peace and prosperity, which should be our goal. Now there is another subject dear to our hearts because we understand it. We understand that counterfeiting is illegal and immoral. It's illegal and immoral for you to do it, and you should be convicted of fraud, and it's a serious crime. Matter of fact, in the Coinage Act of 1792, they said counterfeiting, which is a national crime, the proper punishment for counterfeiting was death. That's how serious they considered inflation. Who are the inflators now? What would ever happen if we applied the law to the inflators, the ones who are counterfeiting our money? But it's very, very destructive. And that is the reason the solution is to end the Fed. It might take us a year or two to end the Fed, but one thing that we could do immediately, we almost got it last year, we passed it in the House of Representatives, and that was, if we can't end the Fed, let's expose the Fed, let's audit the Fed and know what they're doing to us. We ended up getting a partial audit of the Federal Reserve. And I guess nobody should be surprised in this crowd, but we found out that the Fed actually was dealing in about $15 trillion and bailing out all their buddies, whether it was Wall Street. But it turned out that 1/3 of that was going to foreign banks. I mean, this is an outrage. And whether you're a conservative or a libertarian or a constitutionalist, a Democrat, a progressive, or whatever, I think 90% of America say, it's time, we know what they're doing, they have no right to do this in secret. But the events will change things. Events sometimes drives the political activity. The wars will end. We will bring our troops home. I wish we would do it by just wise choices. And if elected, that will be number one on the list, is to bring the troops home. But eventually the troops will come home. Hopefully not with a tragic financial crisis, but that's what we're working for. We're printing money, spending money, deficits are exploding, and no real resolutions in Washington. But most empires end for financial reasons. They destroy the currencies of the financial crisis. You'd think we'd have a memory of what just happened in '89. The Soviets went into this country called Afghanistan, overextended themselves, and they went bankrupt, and their whole empire fell apart. So it will happen. The same way with the monetary issue. If we can't get the Federal Reserve out of the way, they're going to self-destruct because they're working on a non-viable economic system. Paper money is never long-lasting. It's lasted way longer than a lot of people expected. The worldwide paper currency, which is the dollar reserve standard, has been around for 40 years. And it's on its last leg, so we better be prepared to have monetary reform, and it's not complicated. All we have to do is enforce the Constitution. No admitting of bills of credit, which is paper money, and only legal tender should be gold and silver. By limiting the production of money and the counterfeiting of money, it limits the size of government. If there's unlimited printing of money, there's unlimited government, and that is what's happened in the last 40 years. Spending, deficits, intervention overseas, intervention here at home, endless entitlement. But it's all coming to an end. This is what the financial crisis is telling us. This is what the financial markets are telling us. It is ending. But right now we're moving into the second phase of this economic crisis. We know about the financial crisis. We did everything wrong. We bailed out all the guys that were making a lot of money off and dumped all the bad debt on the American taxpayer. We are destroying the middle class and making it so that they don't even have their houses anymore. So now is the time that we have to offer an alternative. The only problem is that many who have been in charge and many around the world know exactly what we know. And they're making their plans too. They would like to establish a new paper standard under the United Nations. We can't allow that. So economic prosperity is intertwined with our foreign policy and our monetary policy. A lot of people will ask, what will you do on the first day to get jobs back in this country? Well, the first day, you have to announce the new policy, and people would have to understand that that individual is very serious. It would change the tone of the country. It would shift, and all of a sudden, I believe that things would start to improve. But we do have to change the foreign policy, the monetary policy, economic policy. We cannot believe in central economic planning through the Federal Reserve, nor some bureaucrats and some politicians who think they know how you're supposed to save your money. It doesn't work, but it's coming to an end. This is dangerous, it's serious, but it's also a wonderful opportunity. It's pointing out the failure. The failure of the Soviet system was clear evidence that it didn't work, and a lot of people have recognized this. What we're witnessing is the failure of the Keynesian model for economics of excess spending and printing press money and economic central planning. And when you get rid of that system, what is left? Economic freedom, personal liberty, sound money, property rights, contract rights, and peace, because you have to stop spending the money overseas. This is a program that is clear and very certain that it can help, and it's not totally strange and new. It seems strange to us because we have drifted so far, but it happens to be the philosophy of America, what made America great. If you follow the Constitution, that's what you would have. So we see this as a great opportunity. What we're hoping for, and I make no predictions, but I certainly hope we do well tonight. Matter of fact, I hope we do very well tonight. that will send a powerful message, not for me personally, but for you and for what you stand for, what all Americans are coming our way for. It's a statement of support and endorsement for the concept of liberty, the understanding how freedom works. Why have we become so frightened of freedom? They say if you don't have all this government, people will fall through the cracks. But what is happening now, more people than ever have been falling through the cracks. This is our opportunity to show how a free society and freedoms and sound money works. We're on the vanguard. We are leading the charge. The country is coming this way, and let's hope and pray that this movement continues. I am very happy with this. It's way beyond my wildest dreams. I could tell you what I thought would happen 5 or 10 years ago. So we are marching on. Thank you very much.